So what we're going to do next is we're going to cover Despill techniques. What Despill is it's when you get bounce light from this green screen onto your talent or whatever object it is that you're trying to pull a key from, and you need to just remove that green contamination, because obviously if you put a background in there that isn't green, let's say it's a wall or a piece of wood, etc., or mountains, maybe blue mountains, you're going to want that to kind of, the light would hit that and bounce that kind of color onto your subject. So we need to remove that green in order to fix that. Now what it's also useful for is our edges, and you'll find this if you're a beginner keying. What you'll find is you'll get really frustrated because you can just see a green kind of fringing around everywhere, and that's simply because we've got a kind of semi-transparent edge here due to the blur. And what that means is you might do a perfect key where you maintain this nice transparency, but what that is you're getting some of the background through, and because you're not despilling, you're not removing that green from that area and tinting it the color of the thing next to it. For instance, over here I'd want to tint this kind of fringing color of his skin. I'd want to tint this color kind of slightly purpley, this color slightly brown, etc., browny red. So that's what you want to do as well. And I didn't realize how important that was until kind of like a year into my like life in the industry, basically. And as soon as I learned it, it all clicked why kind of I didn't have to erode in keys anymore to fix that. So here's a few techniques we're going to go over. Some of them you'll be able to find on Nukepedia and the internet. Others are just kind of built into Nuke. So let's go for it. So first up is the Despill Madness node, and this can be found on Nukepedia. So Despill Madness, there we go, and we've got a mask, so if we wanted to just do a small area, but for now I'm just going to do the whole thing. So I plug the image into here, hold down Control, make a nice right angle and drag that over here. Now we've got a few settings. Is it a green screen? Is it a blue screen? What are the different masks? Here you go, you get a slightly different effect. So again, depending on what we wanted, look, that's quite a nice effect if we wanted to do the color of this, for instance. All of these things are things to bear in mind. Then you can then fine tune it and change the color. Again, this would be something you want to do to tweak per edge. So again, if I wanted to despill this area for this jacket, this may be a good color because it's slightly kind of purple. So that's the first one. Now, if you fancy having a look at the maths that goes on in that, what you can do is go to Node over here and click Copy to Group. And that's going to just create a group. So I'm going to unplug that. With that selected, hit Control Enter, and that's going to take us inside that group. And then what it basically is just an expression node with a few different expressions in. So have a look at that if you're interested in that. There we go. So next up is the PXF kill spill node. Now the PXF, the whole kind of range of their gizmos are great. I've used the Screen Clean quite a lot, and the PXF filler is great as well. So those are on the Pixel Fudger website, I believe. I think they're also on Nukepedia, so have a look out for those as well. So let's bring that in. So I'm going to hit Tab, type PXF, and then kill spill. And again, similar to before, is it green? Is it red this time? We could, if we've got a red screen, or blue. So ours is green. And we can tweak. Is it suppressing it loads? Is it not? Is it doing it loads? And then we can tweak that as well. So that's something to have a look at as well. So that's a really good one. Next, what we got is, this is just a key light node. Now, most people, when they think of a key light node, it's for doing a key, right? That's why it's called a key light, and we create our mats with it. Well, we can also do a very good despill with it. Now, I use this a lot when I'm despilling because it's great for just getting really fine controls over our image. So if we hit Tab and type despill, oh, sorry, apologies, hit Tab and type key light, and plug the source into our image. And then we're going to view that. So at the moment, we've just got our image as it usually looks. So we can put a 1 in the green though, because we've got a green screen. And click on the screen. There you go. We've got a very quick despill. Now, if I'm testing out keys, I'll often just throw this in beforehand, just to give me kind of an idea of what the key's going to look like when it's got some despill on it. So it's just a really good way of getting some quick despill techniques in. But what we can also do, so most people, we don't really need to stop there. So what we can do is we can actually adjust these other values in order to change the color of this. So for instance, we may be able to get it closer to this by nudging these values around. And again, it is kind of a case of just playing with it, seeing where things go. So for instance, that may be quite a nice color for this edge. And we still got a bit of green there, so maybe we'd want to adjust it a bit more. But again, that's just another technique that we can use in order to tweak the background. And I like this one again because I can really muck around with that background and make it a few different colors in order to get it sitting right. So for instance, that might be great for the skin color and his hair. So have a look at that one as well. That's a really good one as well. Next up is the hue correct node, and this is the last one we're going to cover. Now I really like this one as well because again it's quite precise and fine. Well, it looks a bit intimidating at first, but it really isn't. Basically, we've got a green screen. We want to suppress the color green. So funny enough, we click G-Sup. There we go. And now if I hold down Control, basically sample the screen. Again, if you're on a Mac, I think it's Command. This red dot is where we're sampling from. And can you see how this yellow line here is just jumping all over the place? And that's basically just representing where that color sits that we've sampled, where it is on this bit here. So for instance, if I sample the color red, it's going to jump to the red. If I sample the color green, it's going to jump to the green. So with that in mind, we want to select the kind of color that we want to suppress. So funny enough, that's the green. So I'm going to click here. And now that then puts that yellow line. Now what we can do is we can actually drag these down. And if I view that, the result of that, we can actually drag those down. Can you see it starts suppressing that color, or the color green? However, we can be more precise. So what we can do is sample an area and then hold down Control and Alt and drag down. And can you see now I can be very precise. I picked that exact value and I'm dragging that exact value down. And then what we can do then is we still got a bit of green fringing, so we Control or Command click here, drag this one down, and can you see we can just get rid of that fringing. And as you can see, it just means we've got a lot of, and again, we've got a bit of green here, so let's sample that area. Control Alt click. Oh, that's changing the skin too much, so maybe we just need to drag this down a little bit. And there you go, we can really do some fine tuning here. So those are the Despill techniques that are great. Again, those are the ones I use most of all, and those are the ones that you really need. But I really like the hue correct node because you can kind of combine these together. So for instance, that key light, we had that green fringing there. We've kind of got it on his shirt, but let's say we've got this green fringing here. Well, I could put a hue correct underneath, sample this area, go to green suppression because we want to suppress the green color. Control Alt click on where that yellow line is. Again, I'm Command clicking on the screen to sample the color. And Control Alt click on there and then drag down. Now, can you see we can now got a little bit of adjustment on the side here. Now it's changing his skin color as well, and we'll come back how to fix that later on in the session. But for now, can you see how that just fixes that fringing issue there? And again, we maybe even need to be a little bit kind of more delicate with it. But again, that just shows you can really combine these techniques in order to give yourself a really great Despill. And again, what I'm going to be coming back to the end of the session on how to use all of these together, because different techniques are useful in different areas. We never want to just Despill the whole image. We're going to be doing different Despill techniques for individual areas. So for instance, I'll do one for this to make the green screen next to it look like this color, one for this to make it look like this color, one for here, one for the glasses, and one for the hair, etc. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but as I removed the green color, you might have noticed that the luminance feels darker. So look how bright that green was, and look how dark it gets afterwards. Now, this isn't a problem with the screen, but if we had some green spill on the back of his shirt, say, the director would be really pissed off because he'd be wondering, why does the shirt look darker? All we're supposed to do is just cut him out. Well, if this is the issue, here's what you want to do. And it's because our eyes, we get a lot of the luminance that we see from the colour green because the things that attacked us were in the grass. So what we need to do is we need to get that luminance back. And I'll be showing you that in the next session. Welcome back. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to get that luminance back from our Despill techniques. So what I've done here is I've just taken the key light and I'm going to actually put another key light in. And then if I hit that and hit Y, it will automatically connect it. So that's a really useful one I use a lot. Put one in here and then we've got our Despill. Now if we wanted to put some of the luminance back in that we've taken out with that green, we can use a really great method here. So what we're going to do is hit M on the keyboard, A into here, Control, click that, and then B into there. So B into our original image and A into our despilled image. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set this to from. And all a from does is we can hover over here to see it's basically just a backwards minus. So minus, as you can see, is A minus B. From is B minus A. So, and what that gives us, as you can see, is this is all of the green information that this Despill has taken out of our image. So what we can do is we can hit tab and type saturation, and that'll automatically connect if I select merge one first, and drag down to 0 the saturation. Now, saturation 0 in Rec 709 luminance math is luminance. So there we go. This is all the luminance that was taken out of the image, the brightness. And as you can see, we actually did lose some in the back of his hood here. Can you see that? It's going a bit darker just here. And so what we can do now with this, we can then plus this back over our despilled image. So we've got our despilled image here. We've from our original plate, which we had up here, then we put a saturation node in. Set it to 0, luminance math rec 709, and then we're going over here, we're setting it to plus. B always goes down, remember, and there we go. Now we've added back that luminance that we lost over here. Now you may find that you don't want it on these areas here, and again, I'll be showing you later on how to use your key in order to make sure that you're only kind of adding that luminance back where you want it, because it can sometimes screw up your edge. So what we're going to be doing after this is now we're going to be going into keying. And that would be great because we can really start pushing this image around in order to get the best black and white matte. And then from there we can combine our two techniques in order to finally key the shot.